In this lesson, we'll continue to work on the lips and the mouth and also down in the chin area. So let's go ahead and start to add a little bit of shape to these lips, thinking that this edge here is actually where the lip meets the skin. So I'm just going to go ahead and kind of pull some of this geometry down. Okay. And just want to open this up a little bit. Kind of pull this geometry out and out from the face a little bit more. Okay. Can start to come in and create some chin geometry here. Kind of pull some of this geometry out to create a little bit of a kind of a bump there. And just come in and kind of space some of this out a little bit to make that sort of round shape. And we come in and kind of take some of these other points and move them in. Okay. So just kind of space this out a little bit. And if you wanted to go in and grab your normal move, you can do that as well to get this kind of spaced out and also creating that sort of chin shape. So we'll get that edge of the lip to the point where we want it. Okay. So we can come in and kind of pull some of this geometry of the chin out. And if you'd like to at any time preview this in a smooth form, you can always hit 3 on your keyboard to use the smooth mesh preview, and you can take a look at what that looks like. I'll give you a little bit better idea of the smooth version, but here we can kind of pull out our chin, okay, and see what this is actually sort of looking like. So we can start to pull out some areas of this the mouth here. Okay, so at this point we can start to kind of create some of the other geometry for our lip. So for the kind of lip itself. Okay, so to do that, I'm going to go ahead and grab the edges associated with this lip. And so I'll just grab all of these edges up to the top. All right, let's go ahead and extrude those edges. All right, and I'm just going to go ahead and just kind of push those back into the mouth once again. And again, we're going to come in and pull some of these points down. So this is going to be kind of the thickness of the lip. So we'll go ahead and bring this down. So we've got the edge of the lip here, and then we've got the thickness of the lip here. So go ahead and bring this around and down. Same thing here, we'll kind of bring it out. And I'm actually going to move this a little bit closer to the edge here and go ahead and bring this lip down a bit. And we'll just start to kind of take this point by point. A lot of this is going to be just kind of moving some points around. Not really too much you can do about that. It's always going to be a part of whatever it is that you're building. All right, and down here we'll do the same thing. We'll kind of pull this up to create the thickness here. Okay, maybe pull some of this down to allow us to move these lips a little bit further apart. Kind of grab those and pull those down. And then again, this is going to be our thickness of our lips, so we'll kind of pull that up a bit. Keeping in mind that when we smooth it, it's not going to extend quite that far up. Okay, so we'll kind of pull this out and just get a little bit of thickness here. Just kind of modify this to match up with our shape. And we want that to be, we want a lot of geometry here in the corner because we want that to be kind of nice and tight in there. So we'll just kind of tighten that up a bit. All these points in the corner. Okay, so we're now starting to get the actual lips defined. And again, these may be a little bit thin, so I'm going to go ahead and bring this down a bit. Okay, we've got plenty of room here to start to kind of squeeze some of these things together. Okay, maybe make that a little bit thicker. Maybe make the top lip a bit thicker. Okay. And so once we've got that kind of defined a little bit more, let me go ahead and bring this out, and let's bring this back in a bit. Okay. It's all kind of just shaping this. We've got a lot of the topology built in, and now it's just kind of moving those points around a little bit. Now looking at these loops, what we really want is for this loop to be kind of the loop that defines that crease. So if we have a smile, it's going to kind of, this is going to be the part that's pushed in. So in that case, we want to have this define a little bit of a loop coming around the edge of the mouth, and we want that to actually protrude a little bit. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and grab the normal move, and I just want to give a little bit more room to this, and I want to also just kind of pull this out a bit. Just a little. Okay. So just start to kind of pull that out a little bit. And then this one, I'm not really going to push that in at all. But essentially that's what can happen when you go ahead and modify the shape of this to maybe create a smile or something. You want to have enough geometry in there to kind of make those folds that are going to make it look a little bit more realistic. All right, now the sharpness is not really there for our lip, so what we can do is go in and add an edge loop right in here. Okay, and then again you want to just go back and tweak that a little bit, and you can just kind of pull this along, and the further away you pull it, the looser that edge is going to be. So maybe you want it to be a little bit looser as you come out here, and then tighter as you come in. Okay. So it just kind of depends on what you want there. So you can see as we smooth this, we now have a little bit of a sharper edge up here on the front. And you can see how it's really sharp down here because we haven't yet taken the time to move that and modify it. So just come in here and modify this a bit and maybe pull these out. Okay. And then maybe it's a little bit tighter as it comes in here. And the beauty of the edge loops and having the mouth built in a loop, one of the great things about it is we can add geometry like that, and it's real easy to just add that because it comes in and around, and you don't have to worry about it ending up somewhere else on your model. You know exactly where that geometry is going to end up, and so it makes things a little bit easier. It kind of confines that geometry to a specific spot, which is pretty helpful in most cases. Okay, so we'll just kind of smooth things out a little bit here. And now we're ready to come in the next lesson and start to add the interior of the mouth. So we've got some geometry for the exterior of the mouth here. So the next thing we want to do is start to add some interior geometry here, because we are going to probably see inside here at some point, even if it's just a little bit. And so we want to have some geometry in there, and then we'll go in and add things like the teeth and the tongue and things like that. So let's go ahead in the next lesson and start to create the interior of the mouth.